Well, hi there, it's Matthew Donald here to tell you about the Matthew Donald Patreon. That's right, I bet you didn't see this coming. Patreon.com/Matthew Donald. There you can find bonus content for both my shows, The Right Weight and Paleobytes. For the Paleobytes bonus episodes, we discuss pop culture featuring prehistoric animals. And this month, we're talking about the classic dinosaur movie, perhaps my favorite movie of all time. It came out in a year ending in 3. It has 4 syllables, 3 syllables in the first word, 1 in the second. First word ends in ick. That's right, it's the one, the only, the best classic dinosaur movie of all time, sorry, I had something in my throat there. Anyways, it's Pacific Rim! That's right, Pacific Rim. Now, I bet you're thinking, wait a minute, Donald, that's not a dinosaur movie. And that's where you're wrong. Remember that scene where Charlie Day said, there was a trial run with the kaiju. It was the dinosaurs. That counts! It's my favorite movie of all time, guys. We just wanted an excuse to talk about it. In fact, we want such an excuse to talk about it, they're probably going to talk about it every year. Check out the link in the description for our first of our annual Pacific Rim episodes for the Patreon. Thank you for your support and have a wonderful day. It's great. Life's so great.
Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Welcome to Paleobytes, the podcast that soldiers of the late 1800s bone wars fought and died for. My name is Matthew Donald, and each week I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week I'm joined by famed basketball player Stephen Curro. Wait, Stephen Curry, I mean. I messed it up. No, it's Stephen Curro.
Fun fact, I used to work in middle school, and
Stephen Curry.
Yeah,
Curry.
My kids used to call me, can I call you Steph Curry? I'm like, all right, I have no idea what you're talking about, but sure. It took me a year before I realized that was a basketball player.
Actually, I apologize for doing that, because, anytime there's a joke related around someone's name, everyone's heard it a billion times. It's like one time at my famous coffee shop that shall be named for legal reasons, we briefly had an employee named Fiona, and I told everyone, keep the Shrek jokes to a minimum. I'm sure she has heard all of them. She's probably of the age that she was named after the movie.
Maybe,
But yeah. Stephen Curry's a cool guy. Have you seen Holy Moly?
I have not.
Okay, it's an ABC reality competition show. It's a mix of mini golf and Wipeout.
Oh.
It's like you do a hole, and then you have to go through this obstacle, and if you fall into the water or whatever, it's a stroke penalty.
Huh.
It's really fun, but Stephen Curry is one of the designers of it, and it's the same Stephen Curry.
Well, now I have to take a look.
Yeah, no, he's funny. The whole show is very funny. There's a hole called Dr. Puttenstein or whatever, where the contestants have these metal bands strapped to their wrists and their ankles, and every time they miss, they get zapped by Dr. Puttenstein's machine.
That's ridiculous.
There's a hole called the distractor, where it's just a normal hole where it's just one putt, go 12 feet or whatever, but across the other end is a really distracting thing, a marching band with cymbal playing right next to you, or a bunch of shirtless guys dancing and thrusting, or a baseball game going on, someone shouting, a debate going on.
Yeah, I would fail miserably if I were playing in that hole.
Yeah, of course, for the in the theme of the show that we're currently on, there is a Patosaurus.
Is there really?
Yes, where you have to putt down this rib cage of a bunch of of a big dinosaur thing, and then the obstacle is you go across the tar pit, and if you fall into the tar pit, it's a stroke penalty.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, and then all throughout the because all throughout the shows, of course, they have people in costumes and stuff. So of course, to that show, they have all those T-Rex inflatable costumes.
I love those suits.
They never get old.
Of course not.
You'd think they'd get old, but see them doing anything, and it's funny. I mean, not anything, but you've seen those NFL games where there's a bunch of cheerleaders dancing, but there's just one cheerleader just in the inflatable T-Rex costume.
That I have not seen, but I believe it.
It's so fun.
I mean, the one I liked was it's actually a holiday-related one where there were inflatable Santas on a lawn, and the dinosaurs in the goofy costumes are going around trying to eat them. And then the guy who lives in the house attacks the dinosaurs and chases them off with a bat.
Oh,
so
no.
It's just ridiculous.
Did Santa get out okay?
I think he survived, yeah. But
Okay.
Man, let's see, we're recording this on December 23rd, and actually this comes out fairly soon in my schedule. Hold on, let me check when it comes to, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. This comes out, pretty soon. It comes out January 4th.
Oh, sweet.
So we're on the nick of time of recording, so I was hoping we could record it soon. So, but yeah, so Happy New Year, I guess. 2022, may it be better than these last 2 years.
Oh, I hope so. My goodness.
2021 was better than 2020. We got to give it that. I mean, that's like saying this poo is better than this poo, but it's still better.
Yes. Slightly less smelly.
Slightly less smelly, slightly less death. Anyways, I guess, we talked enough that I don't really need a dinosaur-related question at this point. So sometimes we just get into the conversation. There's no need to even have a dinosaur-themed question. So let's get right into it. We're talking about Opabinia.
Say
Right?
that one 5 times fast.
Opabinia. There's a whole video. Hold on. Let me... I had to look up this video. Hold on. Opabinia. Okay.
There.
We're talking about Opabinia. The creature's so weird, its pronunciation is like the least weird thing about it.
Right.
Okay, where the hell is it on my notes?
While you're looking for your notes,
yes.
I just want to say I first encountered this creature in Dinotopia, The World Beneath.
Yes, that's like one of its only pop culture references.
Yeah. So I suppose we'll be talking about that later. But I just remember as a kid looking at this and was like, what is this thing?
I have to wonder how they saw it in the sub. It's little. It's pretty little.
How little are we talking?
Like 2 inches.
Is it really that tiny?
Yeah.
Wow.
So...
I didn't realize it was that small.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
I guess it swam up against the window. I don't know.
Yeah, it must have just swam, like, against the window, had its little suction things, like, on the window, like, used its little trunk. Man, it's so weird. But yeah, so, Opabinia. Type, it is by the way, it means of the Opabin Pass, which is between Mount Hungaby and Mount Biddle in British Columbia.
Oh.
So, type, it is a stem arthropod, a group of creatures closely but not exactly related to the ones that evolve into modern arthropods. In fact, some studies have concluded that the closest living relative of Opabinia is the tardigrade.
Oh my goodness.
So in that way, Opabinia lives on. It makes sense because tardigrades are indestructible.
This is true. So it'll be living on for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. It's like, do you find tardigrades frozen for hundreds of thousands of years? You put some water on it, like, oh, what happened?
That would be nifty.
No, it's happened.
No, I believe. Yeah,
that's literally happened.
They're talking about how the moon landings might have inadvertently left tardigrades up on the moon.
What?
So, yeah, you haven't heard that?
No, I haven't heard that.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
they could survive in space.
I mean, they can't survive indefinitely in space because eventually they do need food and, the ultraviolet radiation.
Right.
But they'll be up there. There are dehydrated tardigrades up on the moon just sitting there. And
that's
they'll
the
be
thing,
up there
because
for a while.
they're in a suspended animation, and they only get out of it once it's safe, so they're just going to be stuck like that forever. That's actually kind of sad.
Yeah,
they're just going to rot until
Maybe we can rescue them eventually.
I mean, again, they're indestructible in those things almost, so we probably have enough time to go up there and save
them.
Guys, campaign, save the tardigrades on the moon!
Anyhow.
Okay, so size, like I said, 2 to 3 inches, 4 to 7 centimeters long. So, yeah.
It's much smaller than I thought. I thought this was going to be like several feet.
Oh, no, hell no. Hardly anything was several feet at this point. Like, the biggest thing that was, was Anomalocaris, that, weird shrimp predator thing. It was, 3 feet long.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was by far the biggest creature at the time. And that thing was, considered Earth's first super predator.
And we're talking, 400, 500 million years ago?
Here, I'll get to that real quick. First, diet carnivore, but then time, Mid Cambrian, 505 to 487 million years ago. So, up to 500 million years ago. That's...
quite a long time ago.
Quite a long time ago. In fact, this is depressing. The way the sun is going, we're more than halfway beyond the point between that and when life is going to not be possible anymore.
That is unfortunate.
It's not just like, we have to wait until the sun becomes a red giant. No, it's growing in luminosity all the time.
Right.
It just gets to a point where all the oceans evaporate, or...
It's going to be, 800 million years-ish?
Okay, so when the oceans evaporate, actually, the oceans have to evaporate for it to stop. What's going to happen around this point, so 500 million years in the future,
Okay.
photosynthesis won't be possible.
Right. Too much carbon will be sequestered.
Yes,
And whatnot.
so there'll still be oceans and there'll still be ground, but there won't be anything living in it.
I think it's weird that the carbon will just stop cycling. Like,
Yep.
It's been cycling over and over again for billions of years. What's going to change about it?
The too much luminosity from the sun. It won't be possible.
The luminosity from the sun will ruin the carbon cycle.
Apparently.
Huh.
It'll get too hot or something, or too,
Okay. Well, that sucks.
yeah, so...
Well, we won't have to worry about it.
Hopefully not, I mean, when we're saying, of course we won't. Unless they discover immortality, like now. But in which case, I don't want that. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live 500 billion or yeah,
500 million years. I
500
wouldn't want to live
million years.
500 years.
maybe 200.
Yeah, just so you can get to when the United Federation of Planets forms, right?
Yeah, now you're talking. I just have to make it to 2063 so I can see warp drive invented.
2063. Oh, well, we could get there anyways.
True.
I'll be 72 then.
I'll be
70, 74, 75?
something like that. How old are you again?
I was born in 91, so I just turned 30 this year. You just turned 32, right? So
I'm older than you?
yeah, you're older than me by like 2 years, dude.
I thought you were older than me.
Oh, I'm flattered. Oh, by a year and a half, I think you're older than me, actually.
Okay,
So I was
there you
born
go.
July of 91, so you were born December of 89, right?
Yep, the last 11 days of the 80s.
How are the 80s? A lot of big hair,
Well, that's been
big
most-
mustaches, shoulder pads.
Spent most of them in the hospital, so I can't really comment.
Yeah.
But
Oh, man, so... Okay, so location, British Columbia, Canada. Was described in 1912.
oh wow.
So, pop culture appearances briefly in Dinotopia, The World Beneath, as we mentioned, where they dive through the underwater caves of the submarine. How did it survive that long unchanged? The magic of Dinotopia, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
This gets to a point where evolution just stops on Dinotopia. I don't know. But yeah, there's other things too, like this thing where I was watching on Tearzoo that has the pronunciation of it. It had some CGI sort of images, like a video of it, which I wager is from some documentary that I don't know of, but I couldn't find it. So, because unless this guy did that himself, which case, good on him, putting it on YouTube for free.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
But I'm assuming there's some other documentaries that have it. But anyways, not that I need to tell you this, but the Cambrian period was hella weird. The life explosion thing just happened, and organisms were going to all sorts of crazy places trying to figure out exactly what the hell life was supposed to be and what niches it was supposed to fill. Like, so one of the weirdest creatures, though, was this little creature, Opabinia. Now, you look at that thing and you think, golly gee, that's a weird one. And you're not wrong. What's weird about it? What's not weird about it? Let's begin with the fact that it has 5 freaking eyes
Yeah.
on stalks like a freaking alien.
It looks like something out of Star Trek, like or Star Wars, rather.
Right, yeah, exactly. Well, isn't there like... Oh, no, I'm thinking of that 3-eyed thing from Star Wars. Was that one? The one has like 3 eyes that coming out? When? You know what I'm talking about.
The guy, the Gran.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I thought, when was he
Was
in?
he in the pod race?
He might have been in the pod
'Cause
race.
that guy had 3 eyes. He's a Gran.
Yeah, but I think there was someone like him in the original trilogy too. But I guess it was the same species. They could reuse species.
Yeah.
So,
But that guy just had 3. This thing
yeah.
had 5.
But they were on stalks though.
It's just so bizarre.
Also, that guy didn't have a trunk. So yeah, that 3-eyed alien is not as weird.
Right. So we have a creature. Has an elongated body.
Yes.
With this weird, feathery. I'm guessing they're kind of like fins.
Actually,
side of
they are extensions of its guts and part of its digestive system.
You're gonna be kidding me.
No. It swam with its guts.
It sounds very uncomfortable.
Well, here's the thing that's uncomfortable about it too. Its trunk, it's at the end of it has a proboscis. It like ends with a claw-like appendage, and it points backwards.
So this whole time, the mouth-ish thing, that's actually not the front. That's the back.
No. It is the front, but it like as it curves, it points somewhat backwards.
Oh, it points backwards. I got it.
So it has a digestive system, especially considering the rest of its body goes downwards like that in that sort of fin sort of thing. It has a digestive system that's not just a straight line. It's a freaking U.
Talk about a rebel.
Oh my god. Like, it's just... It's weird, man. But yeah, like it's proboscis in with the clawed appendages with spines to grip prey. So, like it could just grab little things and just get it up to the U and then point it around the U and it would.
Did it just use its bizarre body to scare prey and to be like, oh, what the hell is that? And
Well,
then
that's the thing. This is the whole time period. Everything was scary. I did an episode on hallucinogynia. Remember that one? Have you heard of hallucinogynia?
Hallucinogynia. It sounds familiar.
Okay, you've seen the thing with like spines.
They all had spines.
No, this one is just nothing but spines. Hold on, let me Google.
Okay, maybe I didn't see hallucinogynia.
Oh, I did an episode of it a while back. Oh yeah, here it is. Look at that thing.
Oh yeah, I've seen that thing.
Yeah.
That thing's just it's another weird thing.
It's the Cambrian.
I saw something like that on that movie Evolution.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that movie. It was like Ghostbusters by the same crew of Ghostbusters, but tried to
But with aliens.
yeah,
Yes.
with alien stuff ghosts.
Really
Yeah,
screwy.
yeah, it's a bit weird. I heard. And also, it's like
But
they
yeah, there's
evolved like over super fast in that movie, right?
Right.
Like, did they have babies super fast, or did they just change? Did they mutate?
It's all mitosis.
Oh.
They're like splitting at exponential rates, and then before you know it, they're crawling around in weird things like a walking hallucinogynia.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's very screwy.
That sounds pretty screwy. Yeah, I've seen clips of it before where they're these bugs like snag one. I've seen this movie before. The black dude dies first.
Yes, exactly. Eventually, they get to. It looks kind of like a pterosaur or a dragon. They
Yeah.
have these big things flying around, wreaks havoc in a mall, and then
Right.
it's. I won't say how it ends because it gets really weird.
Well, mitosis is weird. That's interesting you say mitosis. Isn't the whole point of mitosis that it splits into a double?
Yes.
But I guess
It
the double can evolve.
It duplicates its own DNA, and
But then the
splits.
DNA can evolve. But then how's it evolve then? It's just a double.
Random mutation. Once in a while, it just glitches, I guess.
Okay. Well, I mean, it is a movie and they're aliens.
And yeah,
Well,
but
yeah, I know. But like, you haven't seen much of Big Bang Theory, have you?
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you have seen. Remember that episode where they were talking about like, they were asking like, how did Sheldon reproduce?
yes, they think that she'll just eat too much Thai food,
And then it's just
split
like, I'm
into
just
another
so
Sheldon.
full. And then,
Oh, Sheldon.
he was like, "It's like your 7th serving. You'll have just one more bite." It turned out it would be a nightmare, of course, from Leonard.
Yeah.
He's like, "That's it. No more Thai food."
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of mitosis.
I just remember watching, like, I was in college, actually. I saw a video on mitosis, and I need to refresh on all of the intricacies of the biology. But, they have, like, little organelles that split the DNA itself, and then somehow it copies into, so like one strand becomes 2 strands, and
Yeah, whenever I hear anything about the origin of life, it always talks about mitosis. Like 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8.
so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Mathematics.
Yep.
As much as I hate math started it all.
Math was it like they say in Pacific Rim, numbers are as close as you get to the handwriting of God. And then Charlie Day's like, what?
Oh, I'm so glad you made that reference.
It's such a good movie. I just did an episode of the Patreon on it.
Right, so
Mainly just want an excuse to talk about Pacific.
it counts.
Like, oh no, I can't.
Close
Like,
enough.
honestly, like I'm gonna do as many loose connections as I can. Like, it doesn't matter how loose the connection
Right.
is.
I have Xfinity at home,
Yeah.
on demand, and they have a whole page of dinosaur movies. And if you go through the list, there's like action movies, there's kids movies, and at the very bottom it says there's a dinosaur in it, so it counts.
Oh,
So,
where's this
like-
list? I need to look at this list.
So yeah, like they'll have at the bottom of the list they'll have like Transformers: Age of Extinction,
Yes.
and
Yes.
goofy things like
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, that did have dinosaurs at the beginning. So.
Aquaman, even though the
I
dinosaurs
did an
appear for,
episode
like,
on Aquaman.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie so much.
It's so
You have
good.
no idea.
Oh, that's my favorite DC movie.
Mine too, actually.
Oh, it's just so good. It's so bonkers.
It is a little bonkers.
Like he rides a Tylosaurus. It's actually the director specifically said it's a Tylosaurus, not a Mosasaurus.
Why not? Tylosaurus is cool.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, Opabinia. So it's so ridiculous that when paleontologists Harry B. Whittington first presented his analysis of the creature in 1975 after a thorough restudy. Allegedly, his audience laughed.
I would have laughed too.
That's when you know this thing was cuckoo like a Cocoa Puff addict. Still, though, this creature perfectly encapsulates just how bizarre life was at the time. It was early into the time of multicellular life, so it hadn't quite figured out what it wanted to be yet. Kind of like that shows that start out weird in their first season and don't really figure themselves out until season 2 or later, you know?
Sounds about right.
Like, speaking of Big Bang Theory, you know, in the earlier episodes, you know Sheldon knocks normally?
He does, really?
Yeah.
Huh, I haven't noticed that.
And then, like, an episode later, he knocks Penny.
That's when he
4.
starts the...
No, but he has 4.
Oh.
Penny. I don't know if it's picking it up.
Maybe he was just being whimsical.
But then, after that, he did the classic Penny.
Right.
Penny 3.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to study that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yes.
Because the first season, they tried to make it like the original series, and it was really, really corny. And then the second season, it was still kind of corny a little bit. And then they swapped out doctors for... I could go on a whole side.
No, I've heard about this. That. In fact, the TV Tropes calls it the term growing the beard. Because the time when Star Trek Next Generation started becoming accepted as good was when one character grew a beard.
Yes, that would be Commander Riker. Yeah.
Yes,
the first 2 seasons, he has no beard. And then in season 3 on, he has a beard.
Yes, so apparently in TV terms, when a show really finds its footing and starts to get good, it's called growing the beard.
Ha! No kidding.
So
That's fantastic.
And the opposite end is when a show like loses its footing, especially when doing something really stupid. Is you've heard this probably before, jumping the shark.
I have heard that.
And it's because of Happy Days when the Fonzie is surfing, and at one point he jumps over a shark, and that's usually been considered the point of the show where they started really going down in quality.
Oh, dear.
So that's where the term jumping the shark comes from. Anyways, let's rate Opabinia 1 half 65 million, shall we? Just for sheer WTF factor, it gives at least a 40 million. But
I'm gonna give it
I think
55.5 million.
55.5 million. So 55,500,000.
Yes,
Okay.
precisely. Just because it's so freaking bizarre.
Right. 555, like the number you see on phones in movies, because every
Yes,
phone.
exactly.
So that way you know when you call it's not a real number. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna rate it 42 million. I think.
Fair.
It reminds me of Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy. This thing. So 42 million it is. All right, well, that's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can contact me at mattd@matthewdoncreator.com for any questions to either co-host. If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me at MatthewDonCreator on Facebook, at MatthewDon64 on Twitter, and MatthewDon64 on Instagram. I got some stuff to plug, but before I do, what do you got to plug?
Yeah, so I am a writer.
Yes.
You can find a list of my works at StephenCurro.com. That's Stephen spelled with a PH, not
Yes.
a V.
Unlike Stephen Curry, even though it's spelled exactly the same as Stephen Curry, but pronounced as Stephen.
I don't know why PH is a V. It's ridiculous. Anyway.
He's a basketball player. He's rich. He can get away with whatever he wants.
That explains it. So I have a published novelette with Heareth Publishing, The Spark, and also a bunch of other short stories and poems. You can go find it out there.
Yes, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Anyways, I've also got a book series on Amazon, Megazoic, available for print and Kindle. No Opabinia in that. A bit before when that book took place. But, I don't know, maybe when one of the characters goes on a drug trip or something, which doesn't happen. But if it were to happen, they'd see this thing and be like, what is that?
Can imagine Olajax making a gigantic
Yeah.
Opabinia.
Oh, God, that'd be terrifying. That'd be terrifying. I also have another podcast called The Writ Witch, where two twits talk about writting. All right, well, that's it for this week. As I say at the end of every episode of Paleobytes, this thing doesn't make any noise, so I'm just going to go WTF.
Ha-ha!
Ha-ha! Is that what it did? It was just always had a cry of victory.
Exactly, because it somehow survived.
It became tardigrades.
Yes,
So
because it's still alive today.
it is indestructible.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Goodbye.